Gina, a college sophomore, was scrolling through job listings when she found the perfect gig, a babysitting job for a single evening. She was to look after a 3-year-old boy named Milo while his parents went out for the evening. Easy money, she thought, especially since they promised to be back before midnight. She arrived at the house just as the sun was beginning to set, casting an orange glow over the neighborhood. The house was old and a little imposing, but Gina shrugged it off. The parents were polite, but definitely a bit odd. Gina assumed they were artists or something. After a brief introduction and some instructions, the mom and dad turned to leave. Be a good boy, Milo, and remember, no biting the babysitter. Milo was a cute kid with dark hair and wide eyes, though he was a bit quiet. Gina tried making small talk, but he mostly responded with babbling, which wasn't all that unusual for a kid his age. Gina settled on the couch with Milo, who snuggled up beside her as she began scrolling through the endless list of shows on the streaming service. As she scrolled past an old black and white sitcom about a family of monsters, Milo perked up. He pointed at the screen and exclaimed, "Mommy!" Gina chuckled. "Your mommy looks like Lily Munster, huh?" Milo giggled, a sound that Gina actually found a bit chilling, but she laughed it off. Little kids say the weirdest things after all. But then it happened again. As she continued scrolling, anytime she passed a vampire movie or show, Milo's eyes would light up, and he'd point at the screen, saying "Mommy" or "Daddy" without fail. Gina began to feel uneasy. Was it just a coincidence, or was Milo fixated on vampires for some reason? She decided to test it, scrolling deliberately to a section filled with vampire films. The toddler's reaction was instant. He practically bounced on the couch, pointing and repeating, "Mommy, Daddy, vampire." That last word stopped her cold. She turned to him slowly. "What did you just say, Milo?" "Vampire," he repeated, a big grin on his face, as if he'd just mastered a new word. Gina's heart began to race. She forced a laugh, trying to calm herself. "Vampire, huh? Where did you learn that word?" Milo just giggled and pointed at the door. "Mommy, Daddy!" The door? Jenna stared at it, dread creeping into her chest. It was almost 10 p.m., the time the parents had said they'd be back. But surely they couldn't be. Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of the front door creaking open. Gina jumped, clutching Milo closer. Her imagination was running wild. There was no way she was babysitting for vampires, right? But then, the parents stepped into the room. Their eyes glinted in the dim light, and their smiles revealed unnervingly sharp teeth. Gina's breath caught in her throat. Milo squirmed out of her arms, running to them with an excited shout of "Mommy! Daddy!" Gina stood frozen, her mind racing with thoughts of garlic and holy water, wondering if she'd make it out of the house in one piece. The dad turned to her, dark eyes twinkling. "I'm sure you need to be getting home. Why don't we settle your payment now?" Gina didn't have to be told twice. She grabbed her bag, hastily accepted the cash he handed her, and bolted out of the house faster than she'd ever run in her life. As she sprinted down the sidewalk, she could have sworn she heard amused laughter coming from the house. Needless to say, Gina never returned, and she never accepted a babysitting job again without first making sure the family wasn't a little too pale, a little too nocturnal, and a little too interested in vampire shows.